Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. The title of this YouTube video is a little bit controversial because a lot of people have this mental fantasy about like they're somehow becoming going to become rich by helping poor people. And just kind of like a basic question, who has money? Rich people or poor people? Oh, rich people have money. Therefore, sell to rich people because if your goal is to make money, get the money from the people who have it, right? And I think what happens with a lot of people is because their mind is influenced by media, like Robin Hood type of movies. It's like, I'm going to get rich dealing with poor people. And there's nothing wrong with helping poor people. I help poor people all the time. I help people for free all the time, right? I don't expect anything. But when it comes to making actual money, I'm not going to deal with poor people. The only people who can make money from poor people is people who have a huge infrastructure like Walmart or Amazon or Temu, right? I cannot do that as a person who does not have that huge infrastructure. But if you deal with rich people, right? Getting money from them is not that hard. And this took me a long time to understand, right? Last year I met an older Korean gentleman. I talk about him in other previous videos where I literally, first meeting I had with him in Panera Bread, he owned 5 commercial properties. He showed me his cell phone and says, "Look, I got $2 million in my checking account. I'll lend it to you." And he was, like, not even asking me about my experience, my credentials. He literally just said that to me, and I was like, "Whoa, like, is this even real? It's like some kind of a joke?" Right? And I just couldn't believe it, and it's true, because here's the thing about rich people, they don't really because they have so much money, parting with their money is not that hard with to them, right? And I don't know if you ever like saw this meme about the $500 client versus the $50,000 client, but the $500 client is probably more demanding than the $50,000 client. And I say this as a person who's gonna eventually become the $50,000 client. So, like, a couple of days ago, I just swiped my credit card and, paid $8,000 for a professional in their fees, right? I had no problem with it. I wasn't really demanding. And, sometimes when you deal with other people who aren't willing to part with their money because they're poor and it's so their money is so what I would call valuable to them, they're $500, then they go a little crazy, but like, well, I just feel as though with this investment I'm about to make to you, then we should understand how our lives are about to change, and I need results and you need to bring them. I'm entrusting you with our livelihood and lives. And then the $50,000 client is like, money sent, thanks, right? Right. And that's why, again, if you're going to do a charity, help poor people. If you want to make actual money in business, go for rich people. In fact, I was talking to a realtor that I know, and again, this realtor is really successful, right? Has 21 rental homes, lives in a very nice house, and then she was saying something that I thought was very stupid to me. She was like, "I don't want to deal with old people. They don't know how to do e-signature or stuff like that." And you know what I said to her? No, you got to sell to old people. And she was like, "Why?" Because old people have money, right? Like, who has money? The 21-year-old who just graduated from college or the old baby boomer? And if you're a baby boomer, um, I'll say you're experienced and aged, right? So, and I asked her, like, who are you gonna sell to? You need to sell to the people who have money so you can get the money, right? Like, I'm not gonna sell a $400,000 real estate property to someone who just turned 21 to the average 21-year-old unless, like, they have like a 3 million followers in their social media and are starting their e-com business. You know what I'm saying? But in our society, we just have to see, all right, who has money? Oh, younger people or older people? Oh, older people. Therefore, I'm going to sell them in order to make money. And here's the thing. I love spending time with, the younger people, the younger generation, but I ain't going to make money off of them. I ain't going to do it. You know what I mean? Or it's going to be very, very hard because they don't have money. Okay. Now, here's the thing. All right. I want you to have the mindset that you will be the $50,000 client, that you're going to be easy to work with, that money is no issue to you. And this is a very hard thing for people because if they become they right now they're in such a scarcity mode, especially most people, that they don't know how to transition from here to here. Very hard, but it's really just a shift in mindset. And let me go ahead and ask ChatGPT this. Okay, because I remember an interaction I had on a Zoom call, and it was so bizarre. It stuck in my head, and I guess maybe I brainwashed myself for so long, that I just thought that people naturally thought like me, and it turns out that they don't, right? So I I remember. So let me ask this. I remember I had a Zoom call with a prospect, and the prospect admitted to me that they were broke, but they wanted me to prove to them that I'm better than my competitors, right? As a rich person, I would never do this to any vendor or consultant and would just pay them their fee. I don't understand this behavior at all. The person I'm talking to is broke. They've seen my YouTube material and so know and so have probably developed a parasocial relationship with me, but why do they act this way? And you know why I love ChatGPT? ChatGPT is like understands human psychology better than most humans. And the thing about most human beings is because they become very emotional and ego driven, they don't want to admit why they have dumb behaviors or they act in a stupid way, right? So let's go ahead and ask ChatGPT. Let's go ahead and play this. This is amazing. I love these responses because I know I think certain things and I can explain it, but I feel like ChatGPT explains it way better than me.
What you're describing is a mix of psychological, financial, and social dynamics that are common when dealing with individuals in financial distress, particularly in a sales context. Here's a breakdown of what might be going on. Number one, financial insecurity. When someone is broke, they often feel vulnerable and may project that vulnerability onto others. They might challenge you to prove yourself as a defensive mechanism to regain a sense of control or to justify spending money they feel they can't afford to lose. They might also have a scarcity mindset where every decision feels like a zero sum game. They may perceive hiring you as a gamble rather than an investment and feel the need to vet you excessively to mitigate perceived risk. Handler 2, parasocial dynamics. Having watched your YouTube material, the prospect might feel like they know you on a personal level. This familiarity can lead to entitled behavior where they feel they can demand more from you than they would from someone they don't know. They might also unconsciously see you as a peer or mentor rather than a professional providing a service, leading to a blurred line between admiration and entitlement. Misplaced power dynamics. People who are broke but demanding often feel powerless in other areas of their lives. By putting you in a position where you must prove your value, they momentarily flip the power dynamic, making themselves feel more in control. This behavior might stem from frustration or resentment toward the financial situation they're in, which can sometimes manifest as skepticism or hostility toward people they perceive as more successful. Handler 4, misunderstanding of wealthy behavior. As someone who is financially secure, you likely see paying a professional's fee as a straightforward transaction rooted in trust and value. However, people in financial hardship often don't understand this mindset. They might assume everyone operates with a prove it to me attitude because they don't have the luxury of making decisions based purely on trust. Handler 5, fear of being scammed. People in dire financial situations are often wary of scams, especially in the financial or consulting space. While they may trust your YouTube material to some degree, their fear of being taken advantage of can still override their trust. How to handle this: empathy. Acknowledge their financial situation and validate their concerns without agreeing to unreasonable demands. For example, I understand that making financial decisions is stressful when money is tight. Set boundaries. Firmly but politely clarify the value you bring and the expectations for the professional relationship. I've worked hard to create content that demonstrates my expertise. If you're ready to move forward, I'd love to help, but my time is valuable. Redirect the power dynamic. Turn the question back on them. I'd be happy to discuss what makes me different, but first, let's clarify your goals and what success looks like for you. That will help me see if we're a good fit. This behavior is frustrating, especially when you've worked hard to establish credibility. However, understanding these dynamics might help you navigate these situations with more clarity and less frustration.
And listen, I'm not frustrated, right? I'm just fascinated that people would do that, right? Because again, I remember when I was broke, I'd be like, please help me. Like, I'll just learn anything from anybody, right? And again, I know a lot of people are not good people, but when it comes to YouTube, um, people are directly like, uh, looking for your material, right? And so again, I'm pretty much the same person in Zoom as I am in on YouTube. But unfortunately, because people did that way to me way too many times, it's kind of like, dang, like can't help poor people, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't know how to become good clients, right? Remember, $500 client versus a $50,000 client. And I work with people with all, I don't discriminate at all. I'm just telling you, if your goal is to make money, you only want $50,000 clients. Now, again, once you have lots of $50,000 clients or you work with enough of them, then it's like, oh, okay, then let's see what happens when you deal with people who don't make that much and who can't pay what you're willing to what's it called, who are willing to pay you what and you know that most of the people are not in that category of income, right? Then you realize, holy balls, I really wish that someone would have taught me this cheat code of working with rich people only, exclusively, at least in the beginning, then working with what we call poorer people, right? It's kind of like you can't help people who are impoverished unless you have a little bit of money yourself. And it's also like when you're in the airplane where they tell you, for your safety, put the mask on yourself before you put it on the child, right? Like make money off of the rich people first, and once you have the money, then you can make the poor people. Don't do it in the wrong order. You do it in the wrong order, you're gonna have a lot of frustration. And even ChatGPT says this behavior is frustrating. Hey, I'm not frustrated because hey, when I help poor people and they don't even plan to pay me, I'm just like confused, right? Because I know I provide so much value and they ain't providing anything, right? Like I'm the one providing value. But they act like I gotta, like, prove myself, and it's like, well, this is just embarrassing, right? Let's say Elon Musk wanted to help you, okay? Elon Musk wanted to help you, and you're talking telling that, like, "Well, Elon, you're saying you need $5,000, um, well, tell me what makes you better than, other billionaires or something." It's like, but you're broke. You know what I mean? But that's why I say don't work with poor people, especially in the beginning. You can work with poor people later on once you made some money, but in the very beginning, don't work with poor people. Don't do it. Don't do it. Whether you're a landlord or a bank, and what's the funny thing about banks and landlords is that they kind of know this, but they don't really. They're not really conscious of it because it's like, well, show me your bank account statements, show me your credit reports, show me you got money to pay the rent, right? Three times the rent, you need to make an income. So I think landlords and banks know this to a degree, but your average person doesn't operate in this way and is always thinking about this Robin Hood behavior about in order for us to get rich somehow we're gonna deal with people who don't have money. And that's like getting, like you talk to a lawyer, right? And then you say, hey, I want to sue this poor person. They'll just laugh you out of the room because it's like, well, how do you get blood from a stone? You can't. You can't. So if you're gonna deal with poor people, you don't, do it in a non monetary context, right? Non monetary context. All right. All right. Well, that's it for today. So have a great day, everybody, and we will speak next time.